5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back to Unfiltered. I'm Nigel Walsh, and I'm still smiling. And you're
Matt Connolly. Buongiorno.
Buongiorno, my friend. I think that is the total amount of my Italian, I'm afraid to say. In fact, I'm very poor in languages.
Come on, you've been out there for what? It's been months now. You've been in Italy.
17 months. I've been having Italian
17
summers.
months.
As someone else said to me,
17 months of Italian summers.
It is a stunning place, I have to say. From Sardinia earlier in August to, we've had a little bit of a road trip. We like road trips and moving around. We've been in Lake Garda. We started in Venice. My first time in Venice, actually. It was stunning. I loved it.
What was that? Lovely.
Just beautiful. Like, we stayed right close to St. Mark's Square. It's just stunning. And now we're chilling out for a few days in Lucca before heading home and back to the daily grind. But here I am speaking to you. What about you? What have you been up to?
Well, I have been in Bristol, in England. I've just been busy at my desk. I feel like while the rest of the world is on holiday, and certainly I'm saying that for mainland Europe mainly, I am grafting and loving it. I feel I'm getting ahead, and I'm going to hit September already running, because it looks like a busy one. I feel we were just chatting about it earlier. I feel like September's the new December. It is it's hectic. I don't know if yours is shaping up to be the same, but it's
totally the same.
I feel like I'm going to be in every single country in the whole wide world across September. I mean, I was like, it's not possible, but maybe it will be.
I'm not quite that bad, but I've got our customer advisory board. I've got obviously InsurTech Connect and a whole bunch of other things and speaking events. It's just, I love it. Don't get me wrong, I absolutely love it. It's been nice to be able to pause and relax a little bit. Although again, here I am on a Sunday, as I always say, doing things I love, because I am talking to you, talking about the industry that we love. So
talking
it doesn't
to people
really,
you love.
Talking to people I love. Like, it generally doesn't feel like work when it's this way, is it? So we're very fortunate. Can you imagine doing this if you didn't enjoy it? That we just wouldn't do it.
Yeah, that's true. Imagine if we had an argument ever. That'd be awesome.
I'm not an argumentative person, though. I have an opinion, but I'm not really. Yeah, I'm no good at that. Although I will say to you at the moment, I did joke to you earlier. I'm 50% pasta, 50% pizza, probably 20% gelato right now. So I need to get back to a training regime very soon.
Maybe you're still going out for your morning walks, which is good, right?
I walked around the city of Lucca this morning. Google said it was 4.8 kilometers. I obviously got lost because it was 5.8 kilometers. But it was beautiful. It's sunny. It's nice. Yeah, heaven. Just heaven.
Yeah, I bet. Good. Have you been doing any work, or have you switched off entirely?
I am unable to switch off entirely. I just think it's not built in. When you say switch off, I'm listening to podcasts about data centers and how they're causing political issues in the States, or reading the news, or commenting on LinkedIn. That for me is switched off. I'm not doing the daily grind of recreating assets and collateral and talking to sales teams. Although, as we're hiring, I don't want to lose the momentum. So I'm doing interviews this week coming, and I was doing interviews last week. And so, not really.
No. Oh, well, never mind. Shall I tell you what's been going on out there then?
I will say enough to be present and enough to recharge, which are the things that matter. So it's really good.
Good. Well done, mate. Well done. Shall we dive in? Have you, from your podcast listening, Nigel Walsh, have you tuned into anything interesting that we should all be knowing about? Or that you thought was worth sharing?
You and I talked about data centers last episode, and I think that was around Aeon's and Allianz's reports around data center capacity and how that they're all built in like highly impactful places that will suffer wildfire or quake or whatever else it might do. But I think the thing that's been brewing on data centers, I listened to the AI Daily Brief, which I love, by the way. Thanks to Richard Gunn for getting me onto that. It's a good 30 minutes or 25 minutes each day. They had an extended episode all about data center debate, and it's really gone political in the US. Like, it feels like the whole AI label has become a political hot pot, where you had senators or governors going, I'm pro. All of a sudden switching entirely to I'm against them because they are taking water or power or this, that, or the other. So it's really interesting to see them change in different ways. And now the number of moratoriums or states that are going, we don't want them here, we're banning them, we're not going to do this, we're not going to do that, is extending quite rapidly. So I think they've gone from full on, we want all the power of AI, but we don't want the actual thing to make it work. It's like me saying to you, I want the six pack, but I'm not prepared to actually eat healthily or uh, exercise.
But also, I mean, like just to extend that analogy, right? It's the fat jabs or the whatever it is. We as a human race love a good shortcut, right? So maybe it's what then it's going to be the Elon Musk put them up into space, that, and we
I
all look to that as an acceptable solution
I
because
think
it's
there's
not
more to it than
impacting
that.
us.
I think that as I was walking this morning, I think there's more to it. I think it feels more like that we were happy to have the service, but didn't realize that there was a effort to be put in to make it. It's like the old Facebook conversations with people when if the product is free, then you are the product. And
Yeah,
if
yeah.
it's you, it's your data. And then you've seen obviously all the trials that are going on against Meta and TikTok right now that are costing fortunes. That was a $1.4 trillion trial for Meta, and is it TikTok? I think just paid out
Mhm.
$450 million, whatever it might have been. So about harming kids through social media activity or not doing the right checks, whatever it might be. I mean, it's interesting. I think people were oblivious to the fact that cloud might have been out there, but they didn't realize that it took hundreds, if not thousands, of data centers for these things to be stored physically and to get you your
Yeah, yeah.
service while you're lying on a sun lounge or getting onto a plane or whatever else it might be. So I think people
So,
were.
well, but what's the objection? Is it the not in my backyard, or is it a bigger economical or social play?
It's a little bit of all of it. Like not in my backyard is power costs are going up. We're going to
Yeah.
have less water. There's no like, if you think on one hand you've got folks early on going, AI is going to take my jobs, and now you've got AI is taking all my water. People are going, well, where's AI good for society? Where is it
Mm.
not? And I think
Yeah,
a
yeah,
lot of
yeah.
this is around misinformation. And then there was a whole thing on the AI data brief about is this a smear campaign from the Chinese to help them get accelerated ahead or whatever else it might be. So it's full on gone political, which I think is
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then at
Also,
the
I
end of
think
it,
there's. Sorry, go on.
I say at the end of it, they had some really good examples of um, places that had deployed data centers, for the last 20 or so years and the benefits they've got. Like some states that were saying, we used to charge them 32% property tax. Now it's 42% or 45%, whatever the numbers were. But as a net result, they've built this swimming pool, invested in this, property tax has gone down. So we're just not seeing the good news stories as opposed
Yeah,
to all the negative. But of course, you'll take a story and you could have two different sides of it or three different sides of it all the time, right?
yeah. But I think also we're not quite at the point where we are seeing all the good that can come from AI yet. I feel like there's so much invention, innovation, and amazing activity that AI is kind of bringing to these industries. But I feel like there is so much it will bring that will change our society. That will that will influence because we talk about all these kind of job cuts and I don't know we talk about operational efficiency. We talk about I don't know one man or one person unicorns and
Unicorns, yeah,
all
yeah.
of this stuff, right? And so but I feel like there's so much when and you'll know this from your Google days as well. But when we're applying AI into diseases that we haven't been able to cure to date, and I'm thinking I don't know why in front of my mind, and it's a common name for both of us. It's Lewis Moody and his MND, and it's he talks about it as a disease that is curable. It's just underfunded. And
Yeah.
actually, can we put AI to stuff like this, and so we can reduce the global suffering? Yeah, maybe right. And actually, if we start seeing some really good stuff come out of AI, will we as a society be a little bit more accepting of? And
Well,
and I wonder, right? I don't know if it's as simple
it
as that.
will when you start seeing the good. And I think you and I have talked before about personalized healthcare or personalized
Yeah,
drugs
yeah,
or personalized food. Linking to your cancer story, you saw the news this week about Moderna and Merck developed their experimental personalized cancer vaccine. I think it doubled their share price or something like that. But I
yeah,
mean, it's like we are going to have some major breakthroughs over the coming um, weeks, months, years as a result of this new capability that's in everyone's hands. We're going to have great breakthroughs about better quality software and limiting the number of 0-day events because we're going to find them quicker and then patch them quicker. And it's
yeah,
like everything's speeding up. It's really interesting. In fact, my newsletter this week was entitled Speed Kills. Like it's about, you think about the change journey that we go on in with InsurTech. A lot of it is not about the technology, but about the change that we have to go on. And I think that's very true for data centers. Like they've always been there. They've been in that place for a very long time, whether it was in your building 20, 30, 50 years ago, through to common shared data centers that we have now, through to cloud or whatever we perceive to be cloud. People just haven't had the time to go on the journey and, to your point, understand the benefit, which is as a net result of going, hey, we're going too fast to actually appreciate the benefits of someone building new schools or swimming pools or sports facilities or lowering property taxes. So speed kills. Like, and at the moment,
Speed
the
kills.
AI, we would all agree the AI bus is like Sandra Bullock and your man in the bus, and it's speeding, and there's no brakes on it just yet.
I know that movie. Yeah, mate. I hear you. So we talked about data centers last week, so let's not talk about it this week, right? Halfway through the pod.
Halfway through, I think we've done it, but it's well worth a listen, and I'll share it, and we'll share it on that one as well. What else have you got going on?
Mate, not a lot. I mean, I think in rhythm to what you're saying, if that is even a phrase, the prevention space. So I sat in a couple of workshops. I love I don't know. So it's. I think we talked about it. I can't remember. You're on a call with New Zealand or somewhere like super early one morning, and sometimes you just get kind of you get wheeled into these kind of meetings, and for whatever reason, right? So someone might be off, or it's a certain like VIP on the client side, whatever it is, and so I've spent I had a couple of like 1-day workshops with my teams. Absolutely love them. It's so nice getting closer to the client, getting closer to the work, seeing your team in action as well. Good and bad, and I love it. So so really enjoyed that. And one of the sessions, it was so fascinating. We're talking about we were very openly presenting some trend data around a certain topic, around a certain space, and it's quite a broad place. And when we're looking near term, we're looking far term. But just working with a very senior team to help them understand and help them get their head around like the businesses of tomorrow, and seeing that kind of that cognitive shift from a kind of products or service kind of world to a actual what is the business model of the future, and then recognizing and then wanting to for the customer and also the business, looking at what does sustainability look like for us as a company. How do we make it ensure that we are relevant in 10 years time, which is a huge exam question, right? And then recognizing this kind of actually, do we have as a huge company, do we have the opportunity to move into this preventative space? And then beyond that, is it a must that we move into this preventative space? Anyway, and then just in the news, this week. So I'm like, I put a couple of things in my newsletter, right? So you got Munich Re buying at Bay, which is
I love
the
biggie.
It. Yeah. But it's really interesting, right? So you got Munich Re who's sitting this side, at Bay who's sitting at the front, looking at all the signals continuously, making sure that the insured people that they're protecting are not getting hacked. There's lots of interesting things there. You've got FM who then bought, Munich Re buying at Bay, and then you've got FM buying Fortress Fire. So Fortress Fire looking at the likelihood that individual buildings are going to catch fire, right? So, really to the individual building level as opposed to regional geography. So I find that really interesting. But it's these big companies buying like the kind of the predictors of it's beyond the signals, right? It's the companies that are scouting this stuff.
So is that a point and probably more suited for your world? Is that a way of saying, hey, big companies don't need to innovate; they can let the startups do the innovation. They can seed them or support them in the same way that Munich did for Bay for many years. And at the right time, we'll then just bring them in. We'll just go buy them. We're happy to pay a premium because they've done the innovation in the hard yards, and we'll then do the vertical integration later.
Yes, to a point though, right? But that's always been the case. So, right. But and I think that's where this, client venturing, or venture clienting either way. But it's this partnering with startups, innovators, scale-ups, whatever we're calling it. But it's Munich Re got in early with that Bay, right? So in fact, I don't know if you saw Everquote invested in Wani.
Yes,
as well this week. I think that happened, or maybe last week, but
don't say that after a few Aperol spritz.
Yeah, right. Why? So they put some money in there, but what that is, it's getting close to these guys early. So not only yes, you're continuing to track their journey, but you have that relationship, the first mover advantage, right? So and maybe it's even contractually structured that Munich Re have an opportunity to buy out their first refusal, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
but absolutely. But there is also a point where all the others that may have wanted to buy Ape, they were either too late, too expensive, weren't permission to
Or
do
miss
so.
that clause. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So it's one of those. It's always been there, but you still have to get in early, right? Because otherwise, that opportunity's
Always, they
gone.
used to say at the Moonshot Factory, take 1,000 shots on goal. Like, you can do that if you spread seed across multiple different things and go, well, that one's worked, that one's not. That's right to our business. But equally, our businesses change over those 5 or 10 years as well. Like, where they go, back to your question, might be very, very different. And again, it goes back to the point about data centers and change about it takes time for that thing to happen. Therefore, we need to see and watch these things go. I always remember working for a software company that transitioned from perpetual licensing to SaaS and cloud-based licensing. And that was a very painful journey, both for the company and for the customers of that software, because they just weren't used to working in that way. And as a net result, there you go, well, how do I have a perpetual license that's always mine? And I'm going to rent it or borrow it for a period of time. It's quite an interesting conversation to have.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so that is a space that I found really interesting. What I was going to say, oh yeah, the other thing within that though was at Bay, like I can't remember. This is where we need Andrew Johnson on the pod. I can't remember when the high of all highs was for these guys, but it's certainly sort of 21, 22 probably. So 4 or 5 years ago, and at Bay were 1.3 something billion, and they got bought for 500 and something million.
But
So well under half, and it's kind of like, and that's okay, but it shows the hype that we were in. But also, like, if you were an investor at that point, you'd be pretty pissed off, wouldn't you? Really? I mean, it's just like
but as an investor, isn't your job to work out when to get out on the way up rather than on the way down as well? You can look at Airtable. I think we may have talked about this one as well, but Airtable sold, was it 1.3 billion on a previous valuation of something like 12 or 13?
Yeah.
And again, the feedback and commentary in that, again, I'm not close to it anyway, but feedback and commentary was, well, new tools and capability came out to make that job easier versus something like a Notion. One was aimed at technologists, one was aimed at business users. And it just got hard to work out how to incorporate AI into their product or capability. And one of the things I read said, they've given up, hence why it's been sold to Bending Spoons we had to talk about this, didn't we? To Bending Spoons for a small amount of money. So knowing when to get out is interesting. There's been loads that have sold as well. Was it McKinsey Intelligence sold as well recently to Veris? I mean, like, I think there's a 10-year conversation that says, hey, it's a 10-year overnight success. And you look at the startups that you and I have been close to over the years, whether it's Flock or the UK ecosystem, they seem to get to a 10-year point and go, now it's time to move them into a different space and consolidate into bigger organizations.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, just I don't know if anyone wants to come with 1 billion plus. It's going to be Sonar's 10th birthday in a couple of weeks. So yeah, great. We're ready for you.
Or you follow the thread that we've just gone through and say, hey, Sonar's just sold for a Mars bar and a pound of grapes. Thanks very much.
Oh, what? Hang on. Back of Jim.
Wasn't that Adrian Mole? Wasn't that Adrian Mole book? Adrian Mole, age 13 and a half, whatever it was. Anyway,
what was that?
I digress completely. The other one I saw was AXA Excelport, a cyber company. And again, maybe for talent. Like, it feels like there's a lot of consolidation going on in the market, which I'm intrigued by.
This week. So, and like, honestly, I can't tell you how much M&A activity. You must be doing with your newsletter, right? There's you kind of you write a bunch of stuff that you're interested in, or you collect a bunch of notes that you think you'd like to share. I mean, there were maybe 50 acquisitions that took place in the last fortnight across our industry, and I think I pulled out maybe 4 for the newsletter. But it's like, right. What are you clicking? You've got a click. You've got something clicking going on there. You're fiddling with a stapler.
Yeah, no, it's not even a stapler. It's my wife's Mozzie Bike killer. I don't know what it does, but it does. Actually, I've just realised what it does. Right, when I do this,
what is it?
I'll show you when I'm off camera. But it creates an electrical current and stops the Mozzie Bike itching. I don't know what.
Oh,
Anyway,
so what? So you have to get bitten first, and then that's a tool for after you've been bitten.
I don't normally get bitten, but I like
talking about
bitten.
prevention.
Maybe I should zap myself with this entirely, head to toe, and then go, I can't get bitten.
Look at me. Oh, so what's sorry, on a really random note. Sorry, we couldn't do the pod any earlier today because I was out on a run. Not you're probably by the pool, go for your walk around Luca and all the rest. But I came back from my run and I looked down and I'll send you a photo later. I was like, I just got a bullet shot sort of down, like, sometimes you get bleeding nipples on a run. So this is like a couple of inches lower, but I got like this blood, like this patch, like circular patch on my like stomach area and then blood dripping down as if I'd been shot on my run. And like, I can't see any injury of it. It's like as if it was someone else's blood on my, anyway, really weird. So, yeah.
We'll have to call those URIs, unidentified running injury. Yes. So,
yeah, no, it was definitely one of those.
Man.
There you go. What else, mate? Are you,
I was just, the other thing we were talking about was innovation, and are we still solving yesterday's problem? And you started talking about efficiency and productivity, and I think lots of stuff is still focused on those, as opposed to what's the business model of tomorrow. Like, and I worry about that a lot. Or do we not care because actually what matters is the shareholder?
No, well, it's really interesting, right? And that's a really difficult one to break away from. So we set out like 10 years back, saying that we wanted to work with every ambitious company under the sun, right? It wasn't quite that, but the word ambitious is a really important one for me. And so I was always very keen on those that looked to the future, that 5-10 years out, really, really considered what that looked like. And the industry at the time, so 10 years back, it was all that kind of innovate or die kind of message. Where we got to and really sort of heavily ensconced in was this transformation of the business today. So still working with innovation and startups and all the rest, but it was very much like, how do we increase efficiencies? How do we grow? How do we hit our targets? But all these very near term kind of 1, 2, 3 year kind of numbers. What I do feel, and we talked about it a little bit, is I feel like there's a little bit of light coming back into the market as to what, where are we going to end up, right? What is the 5-10 year play? Still maybe 80% of focus is on the today, but there's just something going on, some lift of let's make sure we are paying attention to the tomorrow as well.
But I think this goes back to your prevention point as well, because if you think about it, if you had written your 5-year plan pre-ChatGPT or Gemini and Claude, it would be very different than you'd be writing it today. And you almost have to rip it up and go, what do we broadly have to go after, sure. Whether it's customer centricity or cost out or whatever else it may be. But there's a massive accelerate come in. So I think you have to rewrite some of those things and then go, is our business model still valid in this? Think about the whole SaaS apocalypse that went on, right?
Sure.
Is it still valid that you'll be buying software or building your own? And that buy versus build debate comes up all the time. Then JP Morgan came out, was it last week or week before last, and said, hey, the buy versus build debate, whilst lovely and you can get to demo really quickly with Claude and Gemini and lots of other AI tools, you can't get to production. This is what it takes. There's a penalty for building it yourself, which is actually very useful. That then puts some confidence back into the market for SaaS companies. But I think back to my point about speed kills, the speed at which things are going round needs you to just to pause a little bit and have some strategic patience to sit there and go, what's actually going to happen? And let's play out some of those scenarios in interesting ways to go, is it going to impact us? And are people going to change? Because whilst you might develop things that are 1,000 miles an hour, back to our change conversation for data centers and so much more, are consumers able to adopt it that quickly? Like, who's still buying insurance from an LLM? Who's given an LLM their credit card? Is it the top 1% or top half of 1% versus the other 99% of the population that are quite happy going to a broker or going on to price comparison website, going to direct to a carrier?
But then with going, like, to bring it full circle, right? You go Munich React Bay, you need to start experimenting, right? Whether it's through Wani or it's like Aviva have done, they've gone, direct in there. But it's kind of like, you need to start experimenting in these channels, because at some point I'm going to be telling my agent to go and buy me either the cheapest insurance or the best insurance for, and that's it. I'm done. I'm out of here. Right. And then my agents are going to be working through whatever it is, frontier model, to be then selecting that and buying that on my behalf, right? And that will be happening when? What, 3, 5 years? I mean, it's soon, right?
I
there,
think
but
it's now, but now for the top 1% of people that are prepared to play with it, I'm not sure they're doing agentic commerce just yet, but it's definitely coming in, right?
yeah, that's right. But it's not necessarily end to end. It's not full, right? And then also the other end isn't the complete set of insurers that I'm able to buy from, right? And so, but that will soon enough be of interest to that 1% end to end journey, and it will just be that will just revolutionize how. Revolution sounds too grand, right? It's just going to become the norm. That's how I'm going to just be buying stuff, right?
I
I'm
think
going to be
that's
sending my
exactly
agents
it.
to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you'll be
but I
buying
will be the 1%. And I'll be rolling my eyes because my wife won't be buying it in the same way. And, it's the same. It's like putting the fixtures for my boys' rugby games in the school, like from the school calendar, to like sending me an invite for each and every one in my diary. I'm like, just scan it, put it through AI. So it's like, just set up a load of calendar invites from that. It's like, don't do this work yourself. Right, but it's just how different people like to work. And she chooses to, right? Yeah,
I subscribe to Watford Football Club calendar because I could try and go to the home fixtures and whatever else, and it's just a calendar. And as soon as the games get updated, they get updated in my calendar. And it's just an easier way to work. But we've all got to go on that learning journey to understand the art of the possible, and we all learn it different ways and means. Like my wife, for however smart she is, can't stand AI voice assistants and that sort of stuff. So Siri doesn't work on her phone. I sit in the car and dictate to the phone, whether it's Whisperflow or Siri, and ask her to set reminders or do alarms or send messages or whatever else. I'm like, my mind is always racing.
Mate, are the rest of the family in the car at the time? I bet they are.
No,
the guy on the aeroplane who's like,
no, I'm not. I'm definitely not. And I do get told off for using Whisperflow when I'm in the house and I'm around the kids. Like, just don't. And in fact, the current thing is, if I'm saying something to the phone quietly, any one of the kids or Emma will walk up to it and go, "Cupcake, cupcake." So if you see a message with the word cupcake in it, I've been caught by one of the family. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No, I do the same on dog walks. I drop back and then have a little chat with my phone and then jump forward. I can't believe we're so similar, right? I love that. And dude, we probably better get going. It's a Sunday, isn't it? No, Sunday, you're in Luca, don't forget. Oh, go on.
Two other things that are interesting to this conversation. Number one, our 10-year story. We've got Chris Bailey back from our Australian insurtech. We've got Julian back from Cover Genius. Yep. We've got Julian back from WeFox. They're both building again. Like, they could argue 10-year great companies, lots of learnings, lots of mistakes by their own admission to go, hey, we found these things out. We've learned this. Here's what we're doing again. I love it. I think there was a thing I was watching the other day that said, hey, you win the lottery, you stop working. The answer is you're not going to stop working because it's not in your DNA to do nothing. You're always back to go do something more, to do something more. So I'm excited to see these guys back building and doing net new things. And then the last one I'll finish on, was back to change. There was an article in the FT that I saw that said Anthropic's best AI model struggles to attract users as cheaper tools thrive. So there's a cost debate coming back. I'd argue we're not even at level 1 and they're at level 155 already. So people aren't using the basics that we've got right now, never mind the ones that could do super cool stuff. Back to the 1%.
Interesting, huh? Interesting.
Maybe we need to find something we build for the 99%, not the 1.
But that 99% is going to slowly decline, isn't it? Because they're going to move over.
They are, but yeah.
Oh, in fact, I've got some big news. I've got some big news about that.
Okay.
I'm going to tell you about it offline. That's another business idea.
All right.
But nothing to do with our industry. It's to do with cakes.
You know me. You know me and cake. Anyway, hey, good to see you. I'll leave you on Sunday.
Enjoy your day. What are you going to do today? How's it going to be spent?
I am going to literally go and sit by a pool and finish off when you said it.
Excellent. Good. Well, enjoy that. Hopefully the family won't interrupt. I have got a kid's birthday party this afternoon, and before that, I'm going to cook a barbecue. So there you go.
I love it. All right, man.
The sun is shining. Mate, take care. Have a lovely one. Nice chatting. Bye.